Our divine calling is the topic, and tonight we'll discuss the re-evaluation, the resetting, and the recreation of our lives and our divine purpose. This is the 6th level of the series that we've been talking about over the last 5 weeks. This is the 6th week of the series, and then we go on from there, working with the 6th level and higher as we are able to. It depends on who will be in the audience, how much focus you are on the discourse, because you lift me up with your focus. If you're fully present, then I can keep lifting to the highest level that I can reach. And that will give you everything that you would hope for. If you're busy and distracted, that's what happens to me. And I can't reach those high peaks. So with your support and your attention, let me begin. So let's start with the reevaluation. The reason we are speaking about this today is because our divine calling is imminent. The whole universe wants to support us in our divine plans. Each and every one of us has a divine plan, all written before you ever came in, all the people you would ever need to meet and communicate with and grow with, learn from, and see yourself in. All of this was tied together. However, we've spent most of our life just being human beings, right? Going to work, first going to school, going to work, meeting people, getting married, having children, such beautiful things in our life. And then one day we woke up and things were different. One day we started to feel an emptiness that we couldn't fill. And that's because we're reaching and seeking to become the highest expression of ourselves. We haven't reached that, none of us, but we're striving towards it. So tonight, the reevaluation goes like this. As you look at your life and really give time to it, after we've had this discussion and over the next week, I want you to think about what is your priorities. What is it that you put first in your life? What is it that you seek that is of the 3D world? What is it besides relationships with your children, your parents, your everybody in your life, friends, everything? That's not what we're talking about. Reevaluating priorities is so important. Also, how we look at our life. How do we look at it? Do we continue to say it's this, that, and boo, 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 and it's going to take forever, and there's no changes, and I'm going to struggle? Or do we say what we really want? Put it out there. Put it into our own fields and our own minds. Reevaluating how we think, how we conduct ourselves, how much discipline that we put into our life. It's so easy to just be flippantly saying things, not thinking of the repercussion of it as it makes its full circle back to the sender. If we expect our life to be divine, if we expect to reach the highest levels of our being, then it's going to take concentration. It's going to take us to stick to the reevaluation. and to seek to understand ourselves in our everyday life, not just when we're praying or having a meditation or with somebody that is so, so loving and easy to be with. No, it's when we're out there in the world, being exposed to all kinds of people, never knowing what's going to be, what's the next step, who's going to love me, who's going to say something nasty, who's going to support me, and who's going to shun me. You can't live like that, worrying about all that. Once you make a reevaluation of your priorities, you go out there like a child and just live. Enjoy yourself until something comes along that stops that joy. And then you stand there and you witness it. And you say to yourself, there I am. What part of this is to show me something today? How do I feel about what just happened? What did it do to my joy? And you go off by yourself and deal with that emotion. That is mastery. You reevaluate what you want to be. Do you want to be a master of this plane? Do you want to reach the highest aspirations that you've ever had? Do you want to create a world around you that is filled with love and blessings? You ask yourself that, and you move in that direction. You set the pace for yourself. You can't control others. You can't make anybody do anything that you want. What can you do? Be in full command of yourself. Yes, we can be silly and laugh and have fun. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how that little voice that we are always saying, the little disappointments. I've even heard people pray and they're saying all the things they don't want. Why would you bring that into a prayer? Only say what you want. Say what you would like in your life. Recreate your life. So once you do the evaluation and you have it in your mind, what you are seeking and where you want to go with your life, don't let any thoughts of limitation get in the way. You hold true to yourself. So how do we reset our life and our divine plan? Continuing with the same thoughts that I was leaving with you on the evaluation, you hold true. You become so mindful of everything around you, in you, and stay in your feelings. Remember, you will never figure out spirituality in your mind. That transfer unit is for a lot of other operations, has nothing to do with this. This is all your feeling world. What you're feeling, how your gut feels when something happens. You're looking at someone and you feel like you just want to run away. You can move away, but then deal with it. Ask yourself why you felt so repulsed. Why didn't I want to be with that person? Do I have past history with them? Probably. Absolutely, in fact. That's why you know that we've been back and with people, constantly interacting. Some people we have karma with that we still haven't cleaned up. And how do you know that? Is what the way you can communicate or not, the way they treat you, respond to you or not, how your stomach feels when you're trying to speak to them. What is it telling you? You ask yourself. A lot of times it's just fear. You're scared because you've had interaction with this person in another experience, maybe long ago, when we weren't so nice, when we didn't live through the heart chakra, when it was survival. No longer do we have to live like that. So in the reset process, every time we find ourselves in a situation that we feel out of control or that it isn't bringing us joy, we sit down and see if we're following our divine plan. If we are, then it means that a circumstance has brought up a layer in you that needs to be released. The most important thing right now in our spirituality is to empty ourselves so that the fullness of the divine being that you are can enter in fully right here in this lifetime. Think about that. We witnessed it with someone the likes of Jesus. That's why he could say the Father and I were one. He wants you to get there too. To find that divine one in you. How do you get there? You reevaluate how you're running your life. Are you so busy that you don't have time to feel, think, or pray? You don't have to set time aside to pray. The great master said to pray all day long. Keep praying, keep thanking, keep being grateful. That's so holy. And every holy moment that we're in, because there's only one, this holy moment that we're in right now, we create the next holy moment. And if we have a beautiful moment right now, we know that our next moment's going to be the same. But then there's work to do. But that work, believe me, is worth every moment. You've got to make time for that. Make time for it. Even if it's late at night before you go to bed, just empty yourself of all the emotion that you're carrying, the thoughts of what happened during the day. It's so good to get rid of it before you go to sleep so that you can have a good night's sleep. And then the next day will bring you whatever it brings you, depending on what layer you're in. It just keeps coming back, rolling forward until you are fully exposed, as clean and clear as water in a spring. Ever see it sparkling in the sun? The water in you will be the same way. So how do we recreate our lives? Carrying on the same thoughts, we walk the path that we choose for ourselves. We walk the path, we speak with respect and honor to everyone we meet. If someone is disrespectful, if somebody is not receiving us, be wise. Don't fight with them. Just gracefully step away. You ever see the monks? Somebody attacks them when they say something to them about maybe a prayer. They bow in front of them. It's a namaste movement, showing respect for the disrespectful, and then moving on. You don't have to stay in that energy. And then the work begins. When you're alone, all you've got is your feelings, your thoughts. Be honest with yourself. Do you love yourself enough? Do you respect yourself? Do you accept yourself? Most people say, oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. And then when we try to get in our size 9 jeans and we can't, how do we feel? We get really mad. Why am I not fitting in those jeans? I can't stand it. I haven't eaten anything but salad for 2 months. My body is failing me. No, it's not. Because it's all about emotions. It's all about a safety layer. It's all about how we perceive the world, even with the digestion of food. If we can't digest our food and have digestive issues, it's because we can't digest life. We're looking at life, and instead of seeing that not everything out there has to do with me, it's just what's right in front of me that has to do with me. We would take all this stress off ourselves. We're stressing ourselves out, getting involved in the whole world's problems. It doesn't mean we don't pray. It doesn't mean that we don't love. It's in our prayers for everyone and the world, it's at large, that we are doing our part, lifting up. And when God sends somebody to you for comfort, do you give it to them? And when we evaluate in our own minds what we're seeing in front of us, and we got them all figured out about how much pain they're in and why and what and where, know that it's because we've been there ourselves and we recognize that. How else would we know about them and what they're suffering from and what they need to do? We become so outer directed because we don't want to look at what's inside us still. Think about how long we've been on this planet, working out everything that we need to work out. And we caught up a lot of ideas and patterns, beliefs, behaviors that we haven't shaken off yet. How do we know what's there? Was many times the same question has been asked. It's how we react instead of responding to the outer stimulus of others interacting with us. How did I feel? I felt unloved. I felt misunderstood. I couldn't get my thoughts across. Nobody understands me. Nobody hears me. Yeah. Well, maybe we don't hear them. We're too busy figuring them out. You see? We're here to figure ourselves out. It's the biggest job we'll ever have. We're always saying, who am I anyway? Why did I do that? Why didn't I help that person? It was a perfect opportunity. I was too busy. I was too scared. I didn't want to get involved. We make so many excuses. And when we go through the Bardo, which we don't have to wait until we pass, right now the door is open for us to look at ourselves in living color, right here and now. It never used to be like that. So let's do it now. Clean it up while we're looking at it. Everybody you called into your life is serving you, and we're serving them. Sometimes we say things that we're very sorry for, but God used us to be honest or to be clear about something that that person needed to see or hear, not to judge. We're not to judge life. We're to live it. We're to live it, accept it as it flows. You can't stop your life from unfolding. You can't. Sometimes you think if you stay in bed and put the covers over your head, today I'm not going to face it. I'm going to sit home and I'm not going to face it. And then somebody knocks on the door. Somebody that you live with is not having a good day. And you go, oh my gosh, I can't even have peace in my own house. What's up with that? Or a phone call comes, various upsetting news. You deal with it. It was a gift because you were ready to let go of something or to embrace something or to say the perfect thing to somebody else. The love and light of God is in you. God moves through the world from within. All of the beauty that you've ever been is right here now. All of the things that we've done in the past, most of it we've cleaned up. How do we know that? Look at your lives. You're not out there having fistfights. Well, maybe some people are. You tough guys, maybe. But for most of us here, and I would say everybody that I'm looking at right now, you're not like that anymore. You have compassion. You care about what's happening in the world, or you wouldn't be on this call tonight. So resetting your life is living in the rules that you make for yourself, but make them loving rules. If everything's based on love, how could you go wrong? That doesn't mean you become a doormat or you go ahead and do things that other people want and need and expect. You honor yourself always and be true to yourself. I really don't want to do that. Even if everybody says that I should do it, I don't want to do it. But I'll find a way. I'll find help. I'll find others that are willing to do it. And I'll do my part. I will help with that. But I won't go against my heart. Because if your heart's not in it, even if you're going through the motions, it isn't love. And the other being that you're with is going to know that. Many of you have been caretakers for your parents and still are. And you know how you feel. Your life becomes different because of it. But let me tell you, it's the greatest gift you can give back. Just realize how many years that you put into your own children and that they put into you. And it just brings that love right up to the surface. And no longer will you find it to be a burden, but a great joy. All of us have our own divine plan. It's multi-leveled. It's multi-dimensional. It has many facets to it. And it's just happening. Fulfill your desires and dreams. Look at the talents that you have and express them. Find a way to make it into something that will bring you great joy. The rest of the world is waiting because not all of us have the same gifts. I like to sing, but oh boy, not good. I love to write. I love to scribe. I love to pray. I love to be at one with God. That's my greatest joys, besides my grandsons and my children. What's your greatest joy? Think about it. What would make you feel so fulfilled to accomplish? And when you have that in your mind, you go for it. You pray for it, and the whole universe will support you as long as it's not going to hurt another soul, as long as it's going to be something that will help others, be a blessing to others. For some of us, it's our humor. For some of us, it's just the tenderness that we have and we express. Others through music. I played the piano. I love playing the piano, but I haven't played in a long time. And I never really learned how to read music. But I enjoyed what I did. And when I didn't anymore, I went on to something else. Each one of you have gifts and talents. Some of you haven't even discovered them yet. Some of you, all of you actually, are taking stepping stones to the ultimate expression of who you are. We think that what we're doing right this moment will be forever, but it'll expand. It will become something so much bigger. As long as you put your mind to it, your prayers to it, your focus to it, and your energy, the universe will back you up and help you. If you're stumbling in what you're doing, you need to step back and look at it and say to yourself, okay, maybe this isn't the right time. Maybe this isn't the right place. Maybe I need to wait and breathe and look for the guidance and inspiration that will come. And then you move on it. You move on it like a jet plane and let the wings of an eagle pick you up and move you forward. The universe, all the planets, the stars, everything in creation will support you. We're a very special creation, humans. We have a soul, eternal soul. We can do anything because God lives within us. We have such power to create. That's why the discipline and the resetting and the reevaluation needs to come first. Surely, if you're disciplined, meaning mindful of what you do, say, how you act with others, how you think inside your own mind, do you beat yourself up? Do you judge yourself? Are you hard on yourself and always making yourself push? Or do you love yourself enough to take time out to be with nature? Or if that's not your thing, to sit at your altar and just pray.
Barbara, you're muted.
Who muted me? The host did. Okay. So I don't know what you didn't hear. Let me get back into the flow. So as you find yourself really taking the time to learn about how you function, learning about how you move, think, and feel or don't feel, you will start getting somewhere, really leaps and bounds. If you find yourself stagnating in between joyful activities or whatever it is that you're hoping to do, don't let yourself get upset if time is not where you want it to be. The universe, when you put out a prayer and you every day repeat that prayer, every day it builds in power. But if you talk about it to 100 people, or even 10 people or 2 people, and you keep talking about it, you dissipate the energy that was building to move it forward. So you hold those thoughts and your aspirations and your plans, hold them inside. Be very, very quiet about it. Just keep talking to God, your higher self, and the universe. All at once, they'll all take it in. And everything will start to shift. You'll start to get hints and meet people, and things will start moving for you. And it'll move you in a direction maybe that you didn't even see coming. It seemed like it was going to be what you were thinking, but not necessarily, because your divine plan is playing out. Our divine calling is now. It's been all our life, but we're hearing it loud and clear now, because our lives, we don't want it limited anymore. We've had so many things happen over the last few years that has kept us from being out and about and enjoying other people. And that's a time for actually going in your cave and working on what goes on inside you. But we're feeling this call. It has everything to do with this anxiousness to get out there and start living again, feeling like we could be free. We're free in our minds and our hearts if we let ourselves. But are we moving ourselves into what we want to do because we know it's our strengths and our gifts? The world will let you free when it's time. Don't be depending on the world to do anything to make things easy. It's here to show us everything we need to get out of the way so life can be easy. It stimulates us to feel. You can't help but feel. But a lot of people just get angry instead of going inside and saying, you know what? I've added to all of these miscreations and I just want them done. And the things that upset you, cry it out. Get mad when you see things that are so unjust. But remember, there is divine justice, and it is happening right now. You're going to see it play out in living color, and you're going to say, wow, look at that. But guess what? Those of the light that are awake, we have to hold that light in order for that to happen. Nothing can happen without us. Nothing. We came here for this purpose. This is our group purpose, to put ourselves together, forming a beautiful island of light, maybe even a bigger piece, joining other islands and becoming a continent of light. And nothing can stop love. Nothing can hold back the light. I don't care what anybody says. You are the light in the world. And we've got to shine that light and hold the light for the planet. Do you feel the call? Do you know in your heart that you're part of this? I tell you, you are. You would not have woken up at this time and become so aware of what's wrong in the world. But don't judge it, because the world is not a place where you're going to find peace necessarily. It's a place where you will be prepared to move on to higher dimensions of love, light, peace that passes understanding. And you can still keep your feet right on this ground, your head in the heavens, and your feet firmly on the ground. Mother Earth feeding you, sustaining you for all your physical needs, and God filling you with the light for your spiritual needs. If you have not heard the call, sit in the silence and you'll hear it loud and clear. You call to God and it will echo back to you. I am ready to be called to service. What greater gift can you give yourself to serve the divine and the world? And in this reevaluation, resetting, and recreating your life, you will become the divine. You are already a holy being at your soul level. And you will convert your personality into the personality beyond the human, no longer tugged by the 3D limitations and pain, but free yourself, because nobody can hold you back but you. Even if all these stories about these ETs and other entities that have done this, that, and the other thing to us, guess what? It was all part of it. Whatever we needed, we got. Whatever we did in the past comes back to us. And we clear and cleanse. No judgment. Just coming to love yourself and forgive yourself for whatever you've done, for whatever you've said. There's nothing to judge. It was all part of it. The growth, the understanding. How else would you come to understand love? Love. There's no limitation to what love means. It is everything. Its power, rightly used. It's our connection to that light that's filled with love. And a beautiful musical sound, all based on mathematics. The music of the spheres, you'll catch a glimpse of it when you're at this peaceful state. And it is so beautiful and soothing. Musicians that write music tap into that all the time to pull into this plane the beauty from the universe. So our calling is now. We have a wonderful task ahead of us to hold the light and love of God as all this darkness gets revealed in that light, just like when you turn on the switch in a dark room, everything that is not of love starts to scramble and acts out and screams and makes a lot of noise as you're seeing in the world. And in the love that you are, we're going to heal, bless, lift, and know what it is to be a divine being. This is the promise. This is the calling. This is your life. So our topic is our divine calling. You're all being called by your own divinity into action. To give the time, you know how Jesus said, give unto Caesar that belongs to Caesar, and give unto God what belongs to God. Your soul belongs to God. Your soul is what is everything. Your soul is needing you as a personality that was sent in to finish up so that you can move on into the most exquisite experience. You've been there. You just forgot. You can be there right now. Just empty yourself. Be honest with yourself. What troubles me? I know I'm a good person. Why do I feel miserable? And start to deal with it. Sometimes it's just, I just need a good cry. Sometimes I used to, but I don't have that fire in me anymore to get angry. But boy, if you're angry, get angry. Go out and howl in the woods. Get in your car and scream bloody murder. Guys don't scream. What do? Yell. And the women, we scream. I think I'd lose my voice for 6 weeks if I screamed at this point. But get in touch with your emotions and your feeling worlds, and it will all naturally happen. In the morning, just for a couple of minutes, ask God to please help me. I want to purify myself and empty. There's a prayer on the website that we put on there about the purification. Go on there and take a look at it. And it's like our prayer to God to help us to empty ourselves, to purify ourselves. Yes, and I wanted to mention also in the healing prayer, it talks about the 12-strand DNA. Now remember something, even though you're praying for it and you're setting your intent, until you're ready for such a thing, it's not going to happen. We have to empty ourselves and get enough light in us, be radiant beings of light. It doesn't mean you're going to light up in the dark, okay? It's not literal, but you'll know because of how your life will change. Everything shifts as you lift in consciousness. And how do you lift? By lightening the load. Lighten up is a true saying. You want to become as light as a feather inside. It doesn't mean your body's going to reflect that. So I want you to know that this is all a natural phenomena. It is happening as we speak. You don't have to do any crazy thing or stand on your head or knock yourself out. Life happens, and it naturally will. You set the pace by what you desire. What will bring you the greatest joy? If it's selfish, I don't know if it'll happen. If it's altruistic, yeah, it will happen. First, you have to love yourself. Take care of yourself, honor yourself, respect yourself. And that's part of answering the divine call. So summing up that we are reevaluating our life, we are resetting our life, and we are recreating our life with positive, loving thoughts and putting your desires. There's nothing wrong with desiring things. And that in that passion of desire for your life to be blessed is how the energy will move in that direction. The universe will catch it and bring it to us. That is why we're here.